Steve, good to sit down with you.
Catch up again.
Absolutely. We're here to talk about your new outfit, Lila Global, which is a company that has been around for a little while, but I think your task is to take the company to the next level. You're based in Dubai, so not in Singapore as before, so that's something new as well. The company owns 30 bulkers, but you also have 40 bulkers. I'm very, excuse me, everyone, and Steve. And also you have some tankers and also other vessel types, as part of your portfolio. Most of your vessels are what we would call middle-aged, but you also have some younger vessels in your fleet. On the back of that, again, very pleased to have you here today. It would be very interesting to talk to you about your growth plans and strategy for Lila going forward. So maybe we can start a little bit with your background, Steve. Obviously, you're a veteran in the shipping industry, serving as a senior executive and board member for many prominent companies. You were also here in Singapore for many years, being the CEO of Eastern Pacific, which is obviously a powerhouse in this town when it comes to shipping. You left Eastern Pacific in 2018, and now you're back in a new role in Dubai. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background and also your motivation for taking on the role with Lila Global, please?
Sure, thank you. Can you hear me? Better? Better. Yeah, thank you, Joachim. I'm not sure I really want to be called a veteran, but yeah, I've been in shipping.
I'm a veteran too, it's okay.
35 years. I don't know where the time has gone, but it's gone extremely quickly, including more than 20 years in Asia. For the last few years, I've had a portfolio of NED and advisory roles and been based in Europe. But then the opportunity came up to build and shape a company in an area, in a geography where I've never lived before. And frankly, I sort of missed the 24/7 the operational aspects of running a shipping company. So I thought, yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
Excellent, excellent. I would like to, maybe we can talk a little bit about Lila Global and your platform, because you're operating as an integrated shipping company, unlike some companies that outsource everything. Can you just tell us a little bit about that perspective?
Yeah, sure. As you know, as a second-hand buyer, you only make money in shipping, buying at the right price and operating cost-effectively. And yes, we operate cost-effectively, and yes, we are value investors. We're building and built a diversified fleet, so a mixture of bulkers, tankers, containers, gas, and even a single cruise vessel. We operate them all in the either spot period or longer-term fixed cash flow. And everything is done in-house, so that's the commercial, operations, legal, IT, finance, and technical management, except for a few ships which are out on technical management to benchmark with the others.
Very good. And we'll get back to how that works in Dubai a little bit later on in our session. Since you are on growth path, also, since you're diversified with basically the liberty to invest across shipping assets, which is a little bit different from most shipping companies, I think the audience is probably very keen to learn about your market view, which sectors are you the most bullish on and where you're looking to invest next.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I don't think I'm going to give away my innermost thoughts of what we're about to do next.
Come on.
But as I said, we're value investors. We buy when we consider the price is right and at the right point in the cycle. And we will continue to diversify the fleet by building or by acquiring single acquisitions or even small fleets of ships. And our aim is to get to over 70 vessels within the next few years.
That's impressive. So you have a track record of investing in middle-aged vessels, as I mentioned, which is a very interesting strategy. I would like to get your thoughts around that strategy, from two perspectives. One is from an economic point of view. Why does that make sense, in terms of money? And the second perspective is how does that stack up from an environmental point of view, and what are you doing to also improve the ESG profile of the vessels that you're running?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, we buy for the cash flow today. With current new building prices where they are, the depreciation is far more in the first 10 years than the latter 10 years. And frankly, it may be an uncomfortable truth for some, but it is actually more environmentally friendly and sustainable to repair and extend the life of mid-age vessels than building new. It produces far less CO2 than transporting raw materials to make steel in a blast furnace and then making a ship in a shipyard. So that's why we're focused on mid-age vessels.
And in terms of improving fuel efficiency and operational efficiency for the fleet that you're running, I know you do a lot there. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we are on the existing fleet where it makes sense. We're on the road to decarbonization. We're implementing, retrofitting, installation of multiple energy-saving devices depending on the characteristics of the ship, whether it's PBCF, Mavis duct, speed, weather, trim, optimization, low friction paint, shaft power, meters, etc., etc.
Do you see any, when it comes to your strategy in terms of investing into middle-aged vessels, do you see that strategy being more beneficial for certain vessel types, certain segments than others, or is it basically a business model that works across all segments that you invest into?
Well, I mean, in general, it's a business model that works across all segments, but certain vessels have longer lifespans than others, more tradability. So, for example, gas ships you can trade till they're a little bit older compared to, say, crude oil or product tankers. Yeah, so we would acquire those at different ages.
Right. You sort of dodged my question earlier in terms of the segments that you're keen to invest into, but you do have a lot of bulkers. Can I ask you about your view on the dry bulk industry going forward? There was a panel yesterday. A lot of people are quite optimistic, but the sector has been underperforming a little bit compared to what people hope for. What is your view, being a large bulker owner?
Yeah, I mean, I share the same opinion. I'm quite optimistic on the dry bulk segment. As you say, it's underperformed recently compared with expectations, though asset prices have still held up. People who've got money have been buying bulkers. I'm generally more optimistic on the smaller bulkers, where it's got a better supply-demand balance.
Okay, thank you. I think I agree with you, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about financing. There's been a lot of talk about decarbonization, ESG, alternative fuels at this conference and also at a lot of other conferences over the past couple of years. That's obviously a very important and hot topic, for the shipping industry. Obviously, banks are also very focused on the same issues. We know that some banks are more reluctant to finance older vessels. How does that work from your perspective? I know that you have very low leverage, super strong balance sheet. So you're very strong from a banking perspective when it comes to your financials. But do you feel that banks are still there or pulling out, or are some banks coming back into the market with regards to financing vessels that are a little bit older?
Yeah. First, you're correct. We do have a pretty modest leverage. We've been successful in securing bank finance when we wanted it. So it's not been a problem. And then we've been showing our banks that we're on the road to decarbonization, which obviously shows them what they're up to and helps. I get the feeling that there are more banks becoming more interested in players like ourselves.
No, that's very interesting.
You've got to show that you're on the road to decarbonization.
Yeah,
that's very important.
That makes sense. I think that that's an observation that we also see, that some banks have pulled out but are now coming back and sort of trying to calibrate the strategy a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you again, back to your personal experience. You've been working around the world, basically, in London and Hong Kong. You were for a long time here in Singapore. Back to London and now in Dubai. Just looking at the big picture here. Obviously, Singapore is very, very keen to maintain its very strong positioning as a maritime hub. We've seen that some companies have been moving to Dubai lately for various reasons, and that the shipping community in the Middle East is becoming more vibrant again. What is your two dimensions? What is your personal sort of experience in terms of working both here and in Dubai, and what do you think is the reason why we see more activity in Dubai now compared to earlier?
Yeah. Over the last 40, 50 years, shipping hubs have moved from New York to London, Far East, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and back to Singapore. And actually, you missed out, and I'd worked for 6 years in Shanghai as well.
Apologies.
Comparing Singapore to Dubai is a little bit of a loaded question given we are in Singapore, but Singapore has a great maritime cluster. I was here for a long period of time. It's got a great concentration of owners, brokers, bankers, insurers, lawyers, surveyors, all here, and helped by the fact that, if I wanted to go onto a ship in 2 hours' time from my office, I could get on one of our ships in 2 hours' time. You don't get that in Dubai. But Dubai is growing. There are various people who've moved there for nefarious reasons. The majority haven't, but there are some that have moved there because of that. It's midway between Asia and Europe. There are 17 flights a day to London. I can get to London within 6.5 hours. And to be frank, it's currently a bit cheaper than Singapore. So people are moving. A lot of people move because of that. The cluster is growing, but it's not nearly as all-encompassing as it is here. It will get bigger. There's less government involvement, but they're trying.
And so you basically expect that more companies will come to Dubai and the cluster will continue to grow in Dubai?
Yes, I would expect that more companies will come to Dubai, yes, yeah. Absolutely.
And how do you enjoy living in Dubai?
Yeah, it's pretty hot in the summer. But yeah, no, it's an interesting place. It's extremely interesting, involved in developing and shaping a business for the future and growing it. That's why I'm there. I'm not there as a tourist.
Very, very, very good. Thank you, Steve. Super interesting company. Looking forward to follow you on your growth path going forward. Yeah, certainly a very exciting company you have joined, and I look forward to hopefully meeting you in Dubai soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Joachim. Thank you for the questions. And if anybody has anything to ask me, please don't hesitate to seek me out afterwards. Thank you very much.